Well, today you find me in the MK8 Golf. I'm going to take it for a little test drive and give you my thoughts. We're Mark and V, and this is our adventures. I've not driven any Golf since I got rid of my MK4 Golf, so this is quite a change. Well, the first thing that becomes apparent is when you're looking at your dials. Everything is digital now, and you have two 10-inch screens in front of you that present you with all the information. On first impressions, I think it's quite nice. It seems that the car can read signs as well, because I notice that as you go past a sign, speed signs especially, it tells you that it's 30 mile an hour, 40 mile an hour. It also will warn you that you've exceeded the speed limit straight away. So there's no excuses anymore for tickets, I suppose. This is the petrol version. I'm not sure what size engine it is currently. It feels pokey enough. It's responsive. It's a 6-speed box. Fuel consumption is sitting at an average of about 34 to the gallon currently. So, not overly impressive. But from a petrol engine, I'd presume that's what you've got to expect. The feel of the car, the steering wheel, quite fat and chunky, but it feels, I don't know, maybe a little bit plasticky. I don't know if that's what happens with more modern cars now. They don't spend quite so much money. It certainly doesn't feel like leather if it is leather, although it's stitched like it should be leather. But as we know, that can be done. It's a multi-function steering wheel. I've not had a chance to use that much yet. Adaptive cruise control too. And I'm going to take the car on a drive on a road I know, so it gives me an impression of how it drives. Now the first thing you notice when you look around is there's no dials, no buttons. So everything is touch control around the dash, apart from the buttons on the steering wheel. I'd imagine you get used to it. I think initially, with all the extra screen real estate in front of you, you tend to be staring at the screen a lot. A bit off-putting, but maybe as you get used to it, that becomes less. It certainly feels more responsive than my Caddy did, but then my Caddy was a 1.6 diesel, so you'd expect that. The seat feels quite comfortable. Oh, eco tip, please consider changing gear. So there obviously is driving aid built in as well. So don't really know a lot about this car. I've literally jumped in it about 10-15 minutes ago, so we'll get used to it as we go. The indicators are comfort light, but I think that's standard in most modern cars now. You just press them gently, they'll flash 3 times. The view around the cabin is good. The mirrors are adequate. Feels you know, I'm not the biggest of people. Move over to the camera on my chest because obviously my Osmo's just ran out of battery. That's not very good thinking. Hopefully you can see the dials. I believe that you can customize them as well, so you can change colors. You know, speed exceeded, so it's 60 mile an hour on this road. I've just exceeded the speed. As I was saying earlier, the cabin, from a driver's point of view, feels relatively small, to be honest. I'm not the biggest of people, and I've got space above my head, but I'd imagine a big person might feel this a bit cramped. There's no handbrake anymore. They have park assist, auto hold, the electronic handbrake.
You set it all on fire, a pyro in a world which you deny.
So coming into a speed camera zone now, I'm just wondering if it tells you about that. No, it just tells you it's 30 mile an hour zone. Oh, speed exceeded, you've got to be careful. Being a petrol engine, it does tend to make you a bit excitable on the throttle. And I'm just thinking of where we can go to take some photographs of this, to film the outside of the car.
Doesn't solve your problems, doesn't make it alright.
So we're on some smaller roads now. It feels quite responsive. Brakes are good. You can see that hand gestures work. We have volume there, and there's the temperature. So it seems like everything is touch, which is okay, I suppose, if that's what you want, but I don't know if it's really what I like. But you know, it's all very nice. Doesn't exactly feel expensive, and it's a little bit bumpy and lumpy. But you know, if this is what you're buying, you might like it. Now, I believe we have wireless charging there for your phone. Start, stop, as I was saying. There's no key. Or there is a key, but you don't enter a key into ignition anymore. And, you know, looking around the cabin, it's all quite tidy. Seats are nice. As you can see to the rear, there are parking sensors, LED wraparound lights. And as with so many cars these days, there's no spare wheel. So you're going to need to have road assistance. So we've been down taking some photographs, and we're going to drive back now. Impressions on the car so far? It's tidy, it's nice. Will it be a classic? Oh, that's a good question. Now, would the Mark IV being considered a classic when it first came out? I don't know. I think always when you looked at the original Mark I Golf, you knew that was going to be something special. As cars get newer, I truly believe they lose their identity to an extent, and some cars look very similar to other cars. Now, does the Golf look similar to other cars? No, I think it actually still looks like a Golf. But slowly but surely, as things get more and more modern, they all do blend into each other. The inside of the car, obviously, is very modern now, with this dash. But what do we do when we have older cars? We're looking to put double DINs, touchscreens, Android Auto. We're looking to put all those things in the cars. So if they come as standard, isn't that a good thing? It saves buying a car that somebody's attempted to do it and it's not been done very well. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Driving wise, it's very quiet. I think you can hear that on the audio. We're using the standard mic built in on the Osmo Pocket that I'm recording on at the moment, and I'd imagine there's a bit of noise, but I don't think there's going to be that much. I can hear myself think. Compared to the Caddy, when I first had the Caddy, there's quite a drumming noise. My T4 Auto Sleeper, I think that's quite noisy. I've just bought a Passat, actually, well, you probably don't know yet, but I've just bought a B8 Passat, which I've only had for a few days, and that is really quiet. We'll be doing some testing on that in a future video. Driving into France, so I think that'll be the perfect opportunity for that. But this car, it's got all the little bits and pieces that people want to do. It's got a flat bottom steering wheel, multi-function steering wheel. It's 6-speed. It's a fat, the steering wheel's fat.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah. Well, there you are. That's the joys of living in Cornwall. I need to do some work on one of the lanes. You have to wait. It's not a problem, is it? It's not a problem at all. Anyway, back to the car. As I said earlier, cabin feels quite small. Don't know whether that is going to be an issue for bigger people. And I did say when the battery ran out on the other camera, so maybe it didn't come out. The general feel of the car is not as high quality as my Mark Golf felt. The leather steering wheel, seats, obviously it's not leather seats on this one, but the quality feels a little bit cheaper. But I guess, you know, that is how things are these days. To drive the car, it's easy. It feels lovely. It's responsive, it brakes, it steers. It does everything as you'd expect it to do. Who is it aimed at? I don't know anymore. Once upon a time, you know, a Golf was aimed at, you know, the youngsters, you know, people who wanted performance cars and reliability. Is that what people still want? Is that what it's aimed at still? People looking for reliability, easy to drive. I think the Volkswagen name goes a long way. People want to be associated with the Volkswagen name. I mean, myself, you know, I currently have a T4, V has a Beetle, and we've just bought a Passat B8. Yeah. Is that allegiance to the name, or is it because we like what we got? Well, I think, if I'm honest, it's because I've always trusted what I've bought from VW. You know, we've never bought brand new. We've never been in the market to buy brand new. And when you buy a second-hand VW, they feel good. You know, the T4s and things like that have a huge following anyway. The VW camping scene is part of what drags us over to the VW name, I suppose. But camping's camping, you know, it's not necessarily needs to be done in a VW. All right, the washers, windscreen washers. It's a mist spray. They seem adequate. I won't be able to test the lights because we've got a daytime loan of this car. Something I have noticed is the steering wheel every so often seems to, or the power steering, it seems to change the, what's the word I'm looking for? The steering wheel sometimes seems to change its stiffness. As you brake, you can sometimes feel it trying to straighten itself again. Not noticed that ever with a car before, so that's something I'm not sure about. And earlier on, while I was driving it, we had warning chimes just suddenly start and stop. It happened so quickly, I didn't really have a chance to find out even what it was about. So whether it's a fluid level low, but you wouldn't have thought so on a 2021 car. But that hasn't happened again. Fuel consumption has remained at an average 34.5. believe also you can use voice control. So let's try it while we're talking now. Okay, Volkswagen. Hey, Volkswagen. Now that doesn't seem to work, does it? Hey, Volkswagen.
What would you like to do?
Navigation. Navigate to... So there we are, that works.
Please say the full address, starting with the city.
Saltash.
Did you mean Saltash?
Yes.
Please say the name of the street. Have a good journey.
Thank you. Well, there we are. So that's brought up the sat-nav. That looks quite easy to read. So we're going to press start. It started raining now, and I believe it's also got auto wipers. So we will see if that comes on. Yes, it seems that the auto wipers are on this model as well. That's a nice little addition. We were driving a car the other day in France, and it had a feature which was brilliant, where the high beam turned itself off when you had a car coming towards you. I've not seen that before on anything, but I won't know if this car's got it. I'll have a look and see if it says anything in the spec. But there we are, it's the Volkswagen Golf Mark 8. It's perfectly adequate, drives lovely. It's comfortable as well, actually. I feel quite comfortable. I don't know what it'd be like on a very long drive, but the seat definitely feels quite supportive. It's all manually adjusted. The sat-nav not only comes up on the main screen, it also comes up in front of you as well. So that was my little test drive and review of the Golf Mark 8. Quite enjoyed it. Hopefully there was a bit of information that's helped you decide whether you want to buy one, whether you want to hire one. And, you know, if it is, give us a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing on my channel, subscribe. And we'll see you next time. See you later, guys. Bye.